me chimo, hey, gịnị ka m mere ụmụ ụwa? Hail Jehovah, what are you saying, Uzom? My daughter that was very healthy when she left my house to your place. I told you, and I told you to leave her to continue her school in. Once upon a time, in the village of Uli, there lived a young man named Uzo. Uzo was a very kind man, and he was the first child of his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ochemba. He had 3 siblings named Kate, Tobe, and Izu. His parents were a middle-class citizen in the village of Uli. His parents owned a very big poultry farm. Uzo and his younger ones helped their parents in the poultry farm. It was a custom in their family to give Thanksgiving every first Sunday of the month with goats, chicken, eggs, and yams as a way to thank God for preserving their lives and their livestock, poultry. They lived in a comfortable house in the village. They were able to afford 3 square meals a day. His parents were very supportive to the families that doesn't have what to eat. Uzo and his siblings attended the same secondary school. He later gained admission into the university. 4 years later, he graduated and was sworn into bar. He became a lawyer and got a job in a law firm. One day, he went to visit one of his friends, and he bumped into one of his old bestie female friend named Adanna. Wow, who am I seeing? Uzo exclaimed, looking very surprised. Adanna about to pick up her wallet from the ground, she suddenly raised her head up. Immediately, she heard the voice of Uzo, but she wanted to be sure if he was the person that came to her thoughts. Ha, Uzo, so it's you. Your voice still sounds the same. Wow, I'm so happy. Today is indeed my happiest day. They talked for couples of minutes and they exchanged contacts. From there, they rekindled their relationship. They both fell in love with each other. Since then, they were inseparable. As the first child of the family, he had to get married before his younger ones. One day, his parents asked him to sit down, and his father, Mr. Ochemba, began. Uzo, you know, as the first son of the family, especially at this your age, we are expecting you to bring a good and responsible girl back home to introduce her to us as the woman you want to get married to. You know that we are getting old and we need to carry our grandchildren. And you also, you need to start raising your own family. Or have you never had it in mind that one day you will get married? His father asked him. At this point, Uzo was feeling a bit uncomfortable with the question, but shyly said, Papa, now that you have brought it to my notice, let me use this opportunity to tell you. I have been trying to tell you and Mama, but I thought it wasn't the time yet. I have someone I'm believing in getting married to, but I'm still taking my time to learn and understand her better. His mother, Oge, added, Please make sure it doesn't take long because of temptation, and we want you to get married already. Uzo replied, Mama, don't worry. It won't be long. They both laughed. Few months later, Uzo proposed to Adanna, and she was so excited. They got engaged. One afternoon, he later took Adanna to his parents. Mama, Papa, this is my fiancée. Her name is Adanna. She's from the same village with us, village of Uli. Adanna quickly bent over, greeted Mr. and Mrs. Ochemba. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Oh, Nne, Good afternoon. No, oh, meaning welcome, my daughter. How are you? They asked. I am fine, sir. She replied, Uzo told us that you are from the same village with us. Yes, sir, she replied. So what is your parents' name and what part of Uli are you from? My family's name is Maabu. I'm from Osam, sir. Okay, Osamu. Ah, I have a very good friend there. The people there are very kind and good people. I hope you are a good girl. She smiled. Yes, Papa, she replied. After the discussion, Uzo's mother went into the kitchen to cook for her, and immediately Adanna followed her. So they began to talk in the kitchen, chatting and laughing at the same time. Uzo's mother was already loving her. She helped her cut the vegetables. Uzo left his dad to check on his fiancée, Adanna, and his mother. He walked into the kitchen. What are you women discussing? No, I hope you are not planning to sell I and Papa, Uzo asked jokingly. His mother and his fiancée, Adanna, laughed so loud. After they finished cooking, they all ate together, both Uzo's siblings. All his siblings, Tobe, Kate, and Izu, loved Adanna so much. They enjoyed her jokes and play. Few months later, they did their traditional marriage and white wedding. Uzo's sister was on holiday when Uzo invited her to come over to their house to spend the holiday. After discussing it with his wife Adanna, and she agreed, not knowing that she wasn't the good-hearted woman he thought she was. Few days later, Kate traveled to spend her holidays with her brother Uzo. She never imagined her life would take a drastic change. Few days after Kate arrived at his brother's house, Adanna didn't even hide one single character. It was as if she was loosed from the lion's den. Adanna hated the sister of Uzo so much. Sometimes she doesn't allow her to eat. She seized most of her clothes and also accused her that she stole some of her jewelries. She got irritated at everything Kate does. This got Kate thinking and worried. One day, Kate had to complain to her brother Uzo. Brother Uzo, please, can you spare a few minutes of your time with me? Yes, of course, he replied. How are you? Hope you are all right. Kate, he asked. Have you been doing your weight loss again? Uzo asked her sister. So tell me, what is it that you want to discuss with me? Brother, Kate began. I don't know how to tell you this, but hope you won't misunderstand me, Kate asked. No, just go on already. He said, okay, brother, I don't know why Sister Adanna, your wife, suddenly changed towards me. Since I started living with you, your wife had been maltreating me, and she doesn't allow me to eat sometimes, and she would make me to stay awake until 3 a.m. in the morning. And hey, stop there. What is the meaning of all this you are saying? Do you realize that you are talking about my wife? Uzo had to cut her short. Is it because I allowed you to come to my house to spend your holiday and you have the guts to say rubbish about my wife? Brother, please, it's not what you are thinking. I was saying the truth. Okay, are you not the person that asked me few minutes ago that I had lose so much weight, and you asked if I am on weight lose journey? My rapid weight lose was as a result of not eating for couple of days and not having enough sleep. Uzo opened his mouth wide open, wondering and imagining what he just heard from his younger sister. He told Kate that he would look into what she has just said. He left for work that same day. Adanna began her wicked act. She saw Kate eating the leftover food and she got angry. Who asked you to eat that food, you evil child? She asked. Auntie Ada, Kate stammered, trying to find the right words to use, but out of fear, she couldn't speak out. Adanna carried the food Kate was eating and she poured it on Kate's head, and she used the plate to hit her so hard on her head. Kate screamed out of pain. She cried in pain, but Adanna wasn't bothered about that. She went ahead doing what she was doing. That evening, when Uzo got back from work, he called his wife Adanna and asked her everything Kate has complained to him about her. Adanna, what is this I'm hearing between you and Kate, my sister? Uzo asked his wife. Like what exactly? Adanna asked. She said something about you not giving her food and how you maltreated her, Uzo explained. Adanna fled. What is the meaning of this, Uzo? So you expected me to keep quiet when your sister is behaving silly? Do you know how she insults me whenever you go to work? Adanna lied to Uzo, her husband. Uzo became very surprised and was wondering when did her sister become disrespectful and wide, up to the extent of insulting his wife. Really? Are you telling me the truth? Uzo asked his wife. So you are now calling me a liar? You believed your sister more than me. I don't blame you. It's because she's your sister, she said. Don't say that, Adanna, Uzo replied. Uzo did not bother to check on his sister to see how she was feeling. He went straight to his room. Adanna succeeded in turning Uzo's heart against her sister Kate. Uzo, not knowing that the person he called his soulmate was a soul demon. They turned her into a maid. When the holidays was about to be over, Uzo sent a message across to his parents, telling them that Kate would be enrolled in school, that she won't be going back to the village. Towards the weekend, Kate went to ask her brother Uzo to get her ticket that she would like to go back to the village so she would resume school the following week. She got the shock of her life. Don't worry about going back to the village. I already sent message across to Papa and Mama. I told them I would enroll you in school here, Uzo said. Kate couldn't believe her ears. Why would you do that, brother Uzo? You know I'm no longer comfortable here, and your wife maltreats me. And you, my brother, doesn't even care about me, and you want me to continue living in this hell? She replied, but couldn't control the heartbreak and pain she felt within her. She cried, and this touched his brother's heart. He drew her closely and said, my sister, it's okay. I don't have in mind to treat you this way. I know you are a good girl, but you know, she's my wife. You don't expect me to disrespect her. You know, you both can live together without any problem. But don't worry, I will still talk to her, and I believe she would change. Uzo replied his sister. No, brother Uzo, let me go. I think your wife would not change. I can see how much she hates me. Don't worry, everything will be alright, he said. Uzo convinced Kate to stay, and she was enrolled in school. Adanna wasn't happy about it, but she pretended for a couple of weeks. But because she had that demon in her, she couldn't control it. She became even more wicked than she was to Kate. This time around, she would beat her and burn her clothes, and she would pick a fight with her husband whenever he tried to stop her. This continued. One day, she stopped Kate from going to school. All the stress and trauma affected Kate. As the last born, this got to her heavily. She wasn't strong enough to bear such wickedness because all her life, as the last born of her parents, she had always been pampered. One morning, Kate was still in her room, feeling very sick and weak, but Adanna walked into the room and she poured her a bowl of cold water. But still, Kate couldn't get up. Come on, will you get up from there? How can you still be sleeping by this time? Go there and wash those clothes I kept in the backyard. I give you just 10 minutes, Adanna shouted at Kate, without checking what the problem was with her. As she left the room, Kate did not come out of the room. Adanna still not bothered. At that point, Kate was fighting to seek for help. She managed to drag herself out of the bed, but she fell on the ground, lifeless, and when his brother Uzo came back from work, calling Kate to get things he bought from the car. Kate, where are you? Come here, his brother called, but he was surprised that Kate didn't respond. That was when his wife Adanna said to him, "Don't mind that useless girl. Since morning, I told her to go wash clothes. She had refused to come out of her room." Uzo, looking very surprised, he opened Kate's room. To their greatest surprise, they saw Kate lifeless on the ground. Uzo rushed and carried her. He was asking, "What is wrong with you, Kate? Are you okay?" But Kate wasn't responding. Uzo, looking very afraid, crying, "Please, Kate, don't die. Don't do this to me. Remember, I am your brother. I love you so much." But still, Kate wasn't responding, and he was very scared at this time. He had to rush his sister to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor did everything they could to save Kate's life, but it was too late. The doctor explained to Uzo that her sister had brain injury that resulted in bleeding in her head. The news of Kate's death shattered Uzo, and the news got to Mr. and Mrs. Ochemba. The shock of the news weighed them down. His mother developed high blood pressure because of the death of their daughter Kate. But they waited patiently for Uzo to come back to the village to explain what exactly happened to their daughter. Adanna was very afraid to travel, but she had no choice. When they got to the village, they were questioned. Even some of the kinsmen were present. While they were interrogating Uzo, he burst into tears and said, "Papa, Mama, I went to work that fateful day. When I got back home, I called on Kate to come get what I bought from the car. But to my surprise, Kate was not responding, and Adanna told me that she had refused to get out of the room since morning. So I have to go to the room to find out what exactly was going on. But to my greatest surprise, I found her lifeless on the ground. I then rushed her to the hospital. On getting to the hospital, after series of checks, the doctor told me that she was already dead before bringing her to the hospital. So I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. And the doctor said there is nothing they can do to revive her. His mother, Mrs. Ochemba, shouted, "Uwame, Uwame, Chimo, hey! Gịnị ka m mere ụmụ ụwa? Hail Jehovah! What are you saying, Uzom? My daughter that was very healthy when she left my house to your place. I told you, and I told you to leave her to continue her school in the village. But you assured me, Uzo, that she was better off with you. I don't know that you people were about to kill my child. What have I done to you people? Uzo, please go and get my child. Oh, hey, Efuemo, Efuemo, Nyekanga Koro. Who am I going to tell this story? Meaning I am lost, Mrs. Ochemba exclaimed. Please, if you don't want me to have problem with you, Uzo, go and bring my child. Oh, go and bring her for me. Hell, she cried profusely. Is there something you are not telling us? Mr. Ochemba asked his son, Uzo, with a shaky voice and tone. But he couldn't continue to hold back his tears. At this point, their kinsmen begged Mr. Ochemba, who was crying in pain. The deed had been done, and there is nothing we can do about it. She is dead already. Had it been she was still alive and in the hospital, we will think of what else to do. Please, Ochemba, take it easy. Take it easy. Look at your health. You're not a child anymore. Don't hurt yourself, please, so that you don't have high blood pressure. You can see your wife. She's already suffering from one, the kinsman said. What am I living for? Mr. Ochemba cried. It's okay. We know how hot you are feeling, but please take it easy, replied the kinsman. All this will come and pass. We know that you are going through pain right now. It's not easy to lose such a hard-working young girl. Please, take it easy. Look at your wife. If you keep on crying like this, what will be of her? Look at other of your children. They will be crying. They are already crying. Please, Mr. Ochemba, take heart. Please take heart. Uzo was overwhelmed with grief and guilt. He blamed himself, realizing too late the extent of Adanna's wickedness. The villagers of Uli mourned the loss of the kind and gentle girl who had been loved by all. In the days that followed, Uzo's eyes opened to the true nature of Adanna. The love he once felt turned to bitterness and regrets. Adanna, realizing that she could no longer manipulate Uzo, tried to defend her actions, but it was fruitless. Uzo could not forgive her for what she had done to his sister. The once happy and harmonious Ochemba household became a place of sorrow and sadness. Uzo's parents were heartbroken. The weight of Uzo's mistakes bore heavily on his shoulders, and he vowed never to let such a tragedy befall his family again. Few months after the burial, Mrs. Ochemba never recovered from the shock of her daughter's death. Adanna, realizing that she could no longer be a part of Uzo's life, left the village. Uzo regretted ever crossing the same path with Adanna. He cursed the day he met her and vowed that he would never have anything to do with women. He remained single for a very long time, focusing on his mission. However, fate had other plans for him. He met Nkem, a woman who shared his passion for helping others. They became friends and eventually fell in love again. Nkem was a compassionate and understanding woman who brought joy back into Uzo's life. With her support, Uzo felt ready to start a new chapter. They got married in a simple ceremony, surrounded by friends and family who had witnessed Uzo's journey of redemption. Thankfully, Uzo's mother recovered from the shock and she eventually forgave Uzo. Uzo and his wife Nkem started their own family. They were blessed with 2 wonderful children, and Uzo finally experienced the joy of fatherhood. The Ochemba household, once filled with sorrow, was now a place of love and hope and joy. Thank you so much for watching this story. I hope you were inspired by this story. Please drop in the comment section the moral value you got from this story. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this story to your loved ones. Until I bring another beautiful and heartwarming stories your way. Bye.